for real. Ugh, lost my complete train of thought. This is such a vastly complicated subject. But, hello little chatfishies and welcome back to 2.0. We're going to continue where we left off because the stream crashed, because I got a little bit too uppity. I insulted the VI and called it, the AI by mistake, got its pronouns wrong. Oh, got cancelled, chat, on stream. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Either way. So, the big thing is, talking about conspiracies and whatnot, VI and AI, they are two distinctly different things. We don't have true AI at this point and juncture yet, which is okay. We don't need it right now. I don't think, quite frankly, our society is ready for actual true AI. We have nothing set up to handle it. This begs the question of societal impact. Now, this is something that I find funny, and I wanted to cover the subject because I wrote a faction in my setting that I'm building called the Builders. And the Builders had this same question when they advanced their technology from the transition to AI into VI, right? Or, no, sorry, VI into AI. And, excuse me. The big thing is, when a society reaches this point, they need real quickly to determine how to advance forward without losing knowledge. Because the dangers of AI do exist. And the biggest danger AI presents is the loss of knowledge and the creation of a dark age. Now, what I mean by loss of knowledge, right? Well, let's say we take something trivial, something basic, like plumbing or sewage management or waste treatment facilities, and we completely automate them, and they're not run by any specialists or individuals anymore. What happens when that AI breaks down, or should something happen where the information is lost? Nobody can maintain those facilities. This harkens back to the Dark Ages, where the feudal kingdoms that took over the Western Roman Empire could not afford to finance the aqueducts and advanced infrastructure projects that the Romans could. And so as those systems failed and broke down, they couldn't pay those people. And within 2 generations to 3 generations, that knowledge was lost because nobody taught their next generations how to maintain these things, because they didn't need to know that information. It was more pressing to survive in different methods and different jobs and professions. No longer was it important to remember how to maintain an aqueduct. And so those aqueducts slowly fell into disrepair and became non-functional. The same will happen should this information not be maintained. Now, obviously we'd still have books on how to do it, but this question, societarily speaking, is important to ask, because who will maintain these facilities should the AI break? Or should something break critically and the AI needs assistance with something, needs human work, an engineer to come in, right? And how I answered this question in my own setting, and this is, stays here, Chatfish, no spoilers, obviously, was that you still have specialists, you still have people that know, and people who overwatch these AIs become basically like macro managers, if you will. They manage machines that do a task and make sure that those machines perform that task. We are already doing that, actually, even today in some automated factories, where you have a individual standing by with a red button to press if something goes wrong on the factory floor, while the machines do most of the work. Now, as time changes and things become more automated, humans will be doing more macro level things, while machines will be doing more micro level things. More humans will be expected to be managing their farms, but managing their overall farms from an overview bird's eye, right? Rather than having to worry about each particular field, the machines will handle that for them. The farmer's still just as important, but his role in his farm has changed. And as time advances, he's still important that he understands what that farm is. He still needs to be educated on how to grow corn. What do beans need? What do apple trees need, in order to grow? This knowledge is still important, and knowing how to do it becomes an art. And what happens is, over time, as machines take a bigger role in our society, as we learn to coexist with these machines, because we will have to learn to coexist with our own creations, we will find new roles for ourselves. It's not a doomsday thing. Artists will not be replaced. In fact, their value is actually going to increase tremendously so. At least that's how I predicted it with the society I had created. So that handcrafted things hold a higher value in society than non-handcrafted things. You already see this actually with organic products in certain areas becoming more valuable, or when you go to the butcher shop, it's way more valuable than those prepackaged meats because it was handcrafted. There's something unique, there's something value to someone working there, right? Like when you go to Fuji's Steakhouse, a sushi restaurant, and you have a live performer perform in front of you while eating. It is an experience. It becomes artistic, and it becomes a fun getaway for your family and friends and loved ones. And so these new jobs take more precedence, and these new roles for humans take more precedence, while machines will be doing more micro things. I think that machines won't actually harm us, so long as they don't turn into Terminators, obviously.
Skynet.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think rather they will allow us to pursue more high-minded things, as well as explore new facets and avenues. Even even the artist, right? The artist was originally afraid of the digital media platform. And did digital media art ruin traditional art? No. Traditional art is just as valuable, and if not more now than it ever was before, because seeing somebody paint on a canvas is incredibly beautiful in a way that nothing can quite compare. Versus digital art is still beautiful too, but it's got a different beauty to it, right? It's a little bit easier because you got tools. I mean, I've got my digital tablet sitting in my lap right now, and we have tools and buttons that help us, paint easier, right? I don't have to mix paints manually like in the old days, because in the old days, they had to mix the paints. Not only did they have to do that, they had to grind up the fruits and berries to get the certain colors, like when they made purple dyes in the Eastern Roman Empire. That was a whole process, and that industry alone made fortunes making purple dyes for purple fabrics, because that alone was a symbol of power. Hence the whole term born in purple, because purple was one of the hardest colors to manufacture and make. Welcome to stream, Bucky.
Yeah. I'm
You need
hearing
to stream
about
to the Discord.
fucking dye making in an AI conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, because Gibbs is
Automation.
about his past.
My past?
Yeah. He's reliving his
back when I was an ancient dye maker. But as time advanced, as machines advanced, we didn't have to do that anymore. And people still have those jobs and make those colors, right? I mean, hell, did you know they still make clothing out of spider silk? That's weird.
You watched that fucking that Twitter thing the other day. I know you did that.
Not only that, but I also just know that they do that because it also has a substantially higher value. Bob Boring donates $5. Say modern art is not art, it's dumb. Hold on, don't say modern art is dumb, because there's two different things when it comes to modern art. There's the guy that poops into a jar and looks at you, and then there's actual art. These two things are distinct, okay? Those are money laundering schemes.
Correct. Yeah, that's why it's not dumb. It's a money laundering scheme.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very worthwhile to do.
Yes. The people that like piss in a jar and put a cross upside down, like that one I've heard about too, that is a money laundering scheme. Or taped a banana to a wall. These aren't actual art pieces. These are money laundering schemes. Modern art, and modern art's like understanding and fundamental principles is more advanced than art has ever been, especially thanks to digital media. Now more people can learn how to become an artist than ever before. Before, it was actually a luxury, right? Because you had to have a lot more things. Digitization, automation allowed for these things. That's why I'm a big proponent of the advancement of virtual intelligence, because I think in the end, virtual intelligence will actually benefit us all. Yes, I know some artists are concerned about it, because they like duplicating art, but I still commission just as many artists now, if not more now, than before, even though AI art is a thing, okay? Or VI art is what we'll call it. Because VI art can't actually make anything new. It's fun to play with. It can make fun little things. It's like a little toy, right? But it can't really produce anything of substantial quality. Not if you're making something specific, right? If you're making a storyboard, you can kind of do it with that, but it's one of those things where it really struggles to do that. I hate how wrong everyone uses modern equals Victorian age. Yes. People forget. Like, the modern art is actually the most advanced form of art we've ever had, technologically, or not technologically, but fundamentals and principles. We understand, 2-point perspective. You travel back in time. People are like, 2-point perspective? What? Fish-eyed lens? They're like, I just draw a little guy on paper. And the fish, I don't understand how to draw fish face, so I just draw a person face for fish face. Because I only know how to draw people faces. So rats have people
Just like
faces.
the AI.
People
Or VI.
As their understanding advanced, so did they. And so the big philosophical question here is that as things advance, things get better, usually. There's always going to be growing pains, right? When automation first hit factories, a lot of factory job workers lost their, jobs initially. But, what's funny? There's a movie that actually shows this, the Willy Wonka movie, where the guy was working at the toothpaste factory, lost his job, but then it turned out that he became the guy who had to check to make sure the machines were working. And so a new job and position opened up. And his pay and salary overall increased, and his quality of life also improved. No longer was he just a factory ground floor worker like a machine. No, that was a machine's job. Now he was significantly more valuable than that position because now he's the guy who maintains that machine.
Are you gonna stream to me, Kips?
Oh, yeah, my computer crashed.
Yeah. He ignored it when I said it.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. That's true, Chatfishes. But that's why, because I saw people like talking about the Hayao Miyazaki thing, and as my understanding of this has also grown and changed, and as somebody who's a big proponent for artists and always will be, I commission artists first and foremost. I spend over like 80% of all I make on artists. I will continue to do that probably till the day I die. And AI art isn't going to replace that.
I just like the idea that photographers are like, this is what true art is they snap a picture and their multi-$1,000 camera interpolates the fucking data instead of it being a like
one of those old school cameras,
1870s fucking old style photos.
My favorite is the camera Rolleroids or whatever, where you take a picture and it prints it. I had one of those. And it prints it and then you wiggle it and it develops in your hand. That was so cool.
You're not supposed to wiggle
I
it.
wanted to mention, we were talking about
Whoops.
the VI in regards to the, chat stuff, but you want to roll. Before I do that, though, Bob Bourne donates $5. Martin Art, where the guy starves piglets to death on display. Top show the inhumanity of... Oh, yeah, that one. That was disgusting.
Which one? Can you... I'm unaware of this.
So there's a guy... Go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Okay. So basically, to show how cruel humans were, he based the art was a bunch of piglets, and he'd either had them starve or had people like basically come in and torture them.
He'd
ask the
drew
audience
this, or he did this to piglets?
Actual pigs.
That's animal cruelty, and that's not art.
It is, and I want to point out the only people who went along with what he was doing wasn't anyone in the audience. It was the journalists who were going to write articles about it. They were there to talk about the art piece.
Way to show how much of a vultures they are. But
oh yeah, Kibbs. That reminds me.
What?
Do you know about the famous photo of the two vultures?
No, I don't.
Okay, hold on.
Let me cover my screen. I take it you're gonna post something.
Yeah.
Let's grab this bad boy.
Well, while he finds that, I'll say what I was gonna say. So, because you're talking about how the VIs will just grab responses, and it's funny because they initially train them on a set database, but then as they use them over time, they're training it on the data that the VI is getting from its interactions. So as these things go on, they start to get more and more wrong responses, or just completely outlandish responses. And you can even see this because all the VIs grab from his databases, and you can even see how it's just become worse over time with these. Because but if you search on Google, it'll give you an AI automated response thinking what you're trying to find, and it's almost always wrong. And the VIs are getting this wrong with basic math stuff now.
Yep.
Because they're being trained on information.
Yeah, they're being trained on information.
Using it.
Yeah. And
the people using it will basically be like, "What's 2 + 2?" It'll say 4, and they say, "No, you're wrong." And the VI is programmed to accept that the human is correct. And so then it uses that data that it got, and then it starts to.
It's like when they
corrupt
tried to
all the
use
other data.
VIs to help with doctors, and then it was starting to suggest things that would kill people. It's like, you have this thing, inject, I forget what it was, like, what's that fluid that's like metallic looking and silvery? It wanted, I think, mercury. It was like, inject mercury into your bloodstream, and it's like, what?
Yeah, but the point is, like, so when they initially
have a
train these
headache?
on databases that they are controlling what the data is, they actually are very accurate. But then they immediately start training them on data that it gathers from interacting with people, and it completely breaks it.
Yep. This is
Because people are going to go out of their way to, let's see what I can get it to break it. Let's see if I can get it to say something stupid. And then they do that, and then now that data is in its
broken.
database.
Mm-hmm. So this image is what brings up the piglet thing.
That was a famous one.
Yeah, this is a famous photo. It was originally called the Vulture. Until after the awards for his photography, Kevin Carter's, somebody at the awards show told him, "No, you're wrong. There's two vultures in this photo."
Yeah. Didn't people ask him, like, did you help the child? And he said,
yeah,
like,
the answer is no, he did not. And he, after the realization that he's a terrible person, he killed himself.
Huh.
He killed himself with poisoning. Yeah.
Maybe he took
4
medical
months
advice from
after being
VI.
awarded the Pulitzer Prize for photography.
Because yeah, that entire industry where they reward people for the
he
best
was so
photos and stuff
fixated
like
on
that, just
getting the best shot and the best photo that he had completely forgotten his morality. And when somebody reminded him of his morality, he was so struck with guilt that he couldn't live with himself.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't think this guy was necessarily a bad guy. I think he was just blinded by his pursuit of the best picture.
But the journalist at the pig museum exhibit is what I'm referring to.
Yeah, that's immoral. Like, just like this image. This image is like, okay, take the picture and then help the kid, right, or something.
Czar wants to say,
yeah,
didn't the photographer have armed militia threatening him to not do anything? And he's saying Artemis he couldn't help because he had militia threatening him, I believe.
That sounds like an excuse.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it sounds like he still killed himself anyways, which means that he felt guilty enough that he could have helped this child.
That and find this. Yeah, he had to go out and look for this to find a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went and found this. So he
It
probably
also
went
looks like
to.
the kid's tied up in some way.
I think kid's just has no energy, can't move. Look at
he's got like rebel. He had permission to be in the area from rebel leaders, and to fly in food and aid. From the UN to fly in food and aid. I don't see where he couldn't help. Like, he gave them his wristwatch, and they became bodyguards for his protection. He says, when he came across a child lying on his face in the hot sun and took a picture, Carter said, Sylvia, on the runway, told him, you won't believe what I just shot. I was shooting this kid on her knees, and then changed my angle, and suddenly there's a vulture right behind her, and I just kept shooting shots, lots of them. Yeah. Yeah, there's no indication that they were told not to help, from what I could see.
Yeah, and I feel like if he was told that, he probably wouldn't have had the guilt and probably wouldn't have killed himself. Because he was like, I would have helped if I could. It's the guilt factor because he could have and didn't. Because this is a big moral question, right? If you see somebody like on the side of the road, stranded and looking like they need help, do you pull over and do you help them, or do you keep driving? Because I've seen that happen. Like when in Minnesota, that happened to me. Except I was the person who, my Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo basically, broke down, and I had to pull over, and it was super cold. It was like, 15 below or 20 below or whatever. And right away, first thing that happened, dude behind me, like, stopped on the other side of the road, got out of his car and ran over. Was like, hey, do you need help? Do you want to come in my car? Or whatever. Do you need a phone call? And then I'm like, no, I got a phone call. Like, people help, right? And so that person asked that same moral question internally, do I help? And answered yes. And then he did. That person did the right thing. He was a good Samaritan. He didn't have to do that.
I would have left you on the side of the road, Kibbs.
You wouldn't. He would have come to my rescue like my Prince Charming. He's like,
I
what
had
the
a
fuck?
similar experience when I wrecked my car about a month ago. Basically, people just kept stopping to be like, "Hey, you okay?"
No, as your broken arm is like
leg snapped off. As you're crawling around the ground, like, come on, man.
They
are
don't
you
help
sure
you.
you're
They
okay?
just keep asking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, my
it is.
response
All right,
was like,
if you're
no, but at
okay.
least I have McDonald's.
At least, oh my god, you fucking like eating like a McDouble on your fucking wrecked car.
So my car got totaled when I was turning left and got T-boned from the right side. It was a 3-turn left lane, and I was behind another car, and everybody was going. This fucking car slammed into me because it ran the red light, and slammed me into another car.
Nice.
And then
little Bucky
basically,
sandwich.
yeah, the dude rolled through and then was like, looked at me as he got out of the car, and I was like shaking my head at the fucking window, staring at him. Because it was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, people are so funny.
Because I once he I looked at my car, I was like, yeah, this is total. I'm good. There's no fucking way that they could pay a Ford Focus.
Bob Boring does just say, wait, Kibbs was a Jeep girl? Dude, a Jeep. Grand Cherokee Laredo. I think the best car I ever had was that Grand Cherokee, in my opinion. If I ever get like the big money, I want like a new one, like factory fresh. That'd be grand.
Having had a Jeep, no, they suck.
What? No, that's before they got acquired. The Grand Cherokee Laredo. That's fucking awesome. It's so good. I went on so many adventures with that, and then the AC broke, and all I remember that being is a hot box. Oh, hell.
Yeah,
Gibbs just wants to
maybe
be hot and sweaty, chat.
is his knees weak, arms are heavy.
Wow. Tarantino donates 200 North Koreans, which I can't feed, so they'll end up like this kid. Don't forget, in Africa, if you
Holy
don't
shit.
stop what am I gonna feed with 200 North Koreans? I can barely make the daily. They're doomed. I guess they can have like, I don't know, some extra. I still have some extra
pizza,
Alaskan pollock. You know, they can have that. Don't forget, in Africa, you don't stop to help, because that is a way robbers that will just kill you for the stuff do. Also,
Correct.
if you start giving one person something, the others would very likely kill the person for the stuff. Yes. As soon as you leave, they would, if there was other villagers or people here and they weren't helping this person to begin with, they would just take the things from that person. You're right.
Yeah.
The issue is they're a broken society.
So, chat, in my time in Africa, we had children trying to enter into the vehicle at a stoplight.
Jesus
Try
Christ.
to climb into your car.
That's fucking terrifying.
That way, the dudes with guns can come over and accuse you of trying to steal or abduct children.
What did you like? Kick him? Like, get out of here.
No, we can't. Our escort was armed.
Nice.
So we'd always make sure the doors are manually locked, like no auto unlock thing from the door handle.
Yep.
That some cars have. No, these are manual unlock from the inside.
They're just banging on the door like, let me talk to me.
Yeah, but they'll just carry on guns, and it's like, okay, well, because sometimes in the middle of the night on some of the stretches of road, they'll like throw burning trash and like wood planks into the road to get you to stop.
Yep, so that they can ambush you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with Humvees, right? You just plow right through.
No, you assume we had Humvees.
Oh, never mind.
He was in
not everybody rolls around in Humvees, Gibbs.
Yeah, but you know, why not?
Because that would be conspicuous.
Armed escort with like little 50 cal mounted MGs on top.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
I was just to buy a Jeep Wrangler Sahara, but then the engine reliability came into question. Too bad Jeep engines go to shite after 100k. It is what it is. Chad King Richard gave the kids that killed me some money and let him live. His men kills the kid and steals his shit after King dies. Damn. But yeah, back to automation, right? So this child would be alive right now.
No, that's just AI stuff. Okay, so
what's your idea? AI. Yeah, AI versus, well, I think our current technology is VI because I don't think we really have true AI.
Well, sort of. So VI, I would put it into the realm of chatbot stuff. Whereas as we start going into more and more software that like converts images into other art styles, we start getting into the more creative side, because you're asking the software to interpolate an image, whereas it's creating something that didn't exist before. And so once you start getting into that realm, you start shifting away from chatbot VI stuff into some pseudo step. And I don't know whether or not you could just call it VI anymore, just by our basic understanding of VI.
Yeah, but the big thing is that for me, when it comes to VI versus AI, right, I don't think we're remotely near AI, mostly due to the fact that everything we have right now can't actually create anything without a database to begin with. So if you want to make a Ghibli-based art, which people have been doing, right, you take the picture or like a picture scene-by-scene play from like Lord of the Rings movie, what they did, and you put it through that thing and it'll like translate it over. But the big issue is you got to rerun that translation over and over again until you make course corrections and then add more inputs to basically fine tune it. It requires too much manual input. My definition of an AI is something where you could be like, hey, I would like you to take this scene from Lord of the Rings and I would like you to make it in Ghibli style, and it does a perfect recreation of that entirely frame by frame without any inputs further than that, and completely extracts information and then is translated completely into a different art form and style.
Here's my question now, Kip. How many normal humans can do that?
Could do that or would do that?
Well, no. A person, just a random person off the street, you ask them, hey, I need you to do this. Do you think they're capable of doing it?
Random person, no. But if you were to ask like a professional, they could do it frame by frame by frame.
Sure, but
they charge you out the ass.
Yeah. But here's the issue with quote unquote AI at the moment, Gibbs, is that you just duplicate it over and over again, and then you have hundreds of, if not thousands, of this AI all doing different projects all at once. So it could just be the top end of the human society all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically macro, right? So it's the idea of like you can have a billion of these things, produce these things, right? And then you can just take the best ones. But when I'm thinking AI, is you only need one. One will do it perfectly and flawlessly, and it'll have it done in a few seconds.
Sure, I just don't think that we apply that standard to literally anything else in society, so I don't know why we would apply it to AI specifically.
Well, the reason why we're applying it to AI is because artificial intelligence is something that is profoundly advanced. It's something that's capable of basically rewriting or writing its own code. VI can't do that. VI can't write its own code yet.
Sure.
And once it starts to write its own code and actually interpolate and learn, and it's more advanced than just machine learning, but can actually do independent learning, then we will actually, I think, reach a point of actual true AI. Because true AI's definition is that it's something far more advanced than anything we can conceive of at this current date and junction.
Going forward, how far into the future?
Well, in most science fiction, true AI is interpreted as indistinguishable from an individual. Now,
the individual is kind of retarded.
What was that?
The average individual is kind of retarded.
Yes, but in science fiction, it's not a retarded individual. It's interpreted as a advanced individual with like hyper intelligence.
Okay, so that's the grading scale that I'm worried about.
Yeah, but
Is that we're
that's how true AI is viewed. Like
yeah, I'm just saying.
there's nothing wrong with VI as VI is now, whatsoever. I'm just saying, when we reach the point of true AI, what that will mean fundamentally as a society, as we reach that point, that's going to change things massively, both in the creative sector and in every other sector as well. It will be a revolution, like on the scale of the industrial evolution.
Yeah.
Currently, VI isn't at that point, but we do have automation. We already have machines that can reprogram themselves, says Yingus. To a degree, yeah, we do, in a way. Like, I believe Dota's, what do you call it, machine learning, where they have the AI learn from different plays. If you play it on the max difficulty, will do, like, specifically hyper-specific things in certain orders because of, it's working its way through the system and how to handle which best thing to do and optimal thing. We could have Kib 24/7. Wow. I like how Chatfish's interpretation of using true AI is just copying a person.
I mean, that'll happen.
It will. But it's like, wouldn't you want it to be something else, though? Not just a carbon copy?
No, I want an AI that's just Kib, and
It's up to the
and
individual,
it tells
of
me
course.
that I'm great and always right, never wrong.
Duckin says, I say some of what we have could evolve into AI, but not yet. Currently, all we have is VI. Yeah, because that's I think what the technological point we're at right now. People are a little bit excited about it and want to call it AI, but we haven't reached the point of true AI. And then many science
AI
fiction
is a better
authors have talked about
marketable
it.
term.
It is. It is incredibly a lot more marketable because VI isn't as commonly known, but it's more what it is right now. And it's what it will be until we reach something more advanced. And there's nothing wrong with VI. VI isn't a negative connotation whatsoever. It's rather a technological distinction between AI and VI. I agree with chat. AI should be used to replace.
Okay, do you see this image?
Hold on a moment. I shall pull it up for Chatfishies. Oh, what's wrong with my mouse? What the hell?
I know that one.
Open link. Here we go. 1 second.
Yep, that is the problem.
The meme template. They got an AI to play Tetris with the goal of surviving for as long as possible. It paused the game. Those who don't know, those who know.
Does Kibbs know?
Do you know, Gibbs?
It's like when they had those two AIs advanced compute and talk to each other, and they developed their own language, and they got scared and turned them off. We do have some machines that are that, but the stuff that we're using right now is VI. Public use, we don't have access to that.
Gibbs, do you know
He
about
doesn't
Tetris?
know.
Yeah, I don't think he knows.
Yeah, I do.
What? What do you know?
You can't win Tetris.
No,
No,
you can't pause it.
It doesn't have a pause feature.
It doesn't? I swore it
No.
did. I guess
No,
that's
it
a
doesn't
modern
have-
Tetris then.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
a modern
modern.
Tetris.
So this was specifically like the original Game Boy Tetris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've never had the original Game Boy
so
Tetris.
It broke the game.
It broke into the code to last as long as possible. It broke the code so that the game would pause.
This highlights the danger of, oh, it's just a simple task, but like the AI's or VI is going to interpret it potentially drastically differently.
Yep. It needs to be specifically guaranteed, otherwise it could break something. Like, I want these crops to run efficiently, and it's like, okay. Okay. And so it just makes one.
The example people always go from this of like how it could be interpreted on is like, all right, we want to get the AI to better manage the landscape here, and it comes to the conclusion, well, the best way to manage it is just remove any people that would do anything to it.
Yeah,
that's where we reach Skynet. Yeah, that's where we reach.
The big thing is,
that's the danger.
So, kids, the issue with I think it is with AI and everything is that if we want a AI that sufficiently understands humans to the point where it knows what it wants,
it'll have to be shackled. Yes.
So at that point, you're just making a human.
Yeah, that's honestly what AI is, and to a lesser degree. That's what true AI actually represents. Artificial intelligence. An intelligent, artificial, almost life form.
human though, because other artificial life forms like a cat or dog or whatever will have different like responses to
Yes,
problems.
they will. And you wouldn't want an artificial dog because an artificial dog isn't going to solve your.
Yeah, I understand. But the issue is that if we're shackling AI, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but at this point, people are just aiming to recreate humans, not make a sufficiently advanced AI.
Well, that is AI.
Problem solve like
That's the distinction: VI versus AI, right? And the
No, no,
evolution between these two things, because these two entities are different. A VI is not that intelligent and cannot do those things. An AI can do those things, but an AI is also potentially dangerous because AIs could potentially do things we don't want them to.
yeah.
So it's
I'm
the
just
question
saying.
of the balance between what's a VI versus an AI, right? Because the reality is what we have right now is a VI. And what you're talking about, and what you sound like you prefer VI over AI.
I think the answer is if the entire point is to have an AI that can write its own code, self improve, and stuff like that. We don't know. Humans don't know exactly what direction an AI needs to self improve in.
Yep. So you want oversight, and then what you'd want is
No, not even just oversight. We wouldn't even fathom the ability for the AI like to know what direction the AI needs to go in to be able to improve itself rapidly. For example, it took trial and error of what, like 2 decades currently to come up with like a better version of qubits and quantum computing.
yeah.
And trillions of dollars of research when an AI theoretically would probably do it a hell of a lot faster.
Yeah, a true AI would advance quantum computing or technology and microtechnology astronomically fast. So its benefits, if it's given a directive and it has to adhere to the directive, that it could produce something with insane like things like come up with a new type of propellant that we can use to escape Earth's gravity to get to the moon. Come up with a solution to create habitat to sustain human life on the moon so we can test bed our colonies for Mars.
Yeah, that's the issue is that again, or would you be able to create something or a human have some type of oversight fast enough and be able to be articulate enough
To realize what it's doing before it goes
to
too
real
fast.
to keep, yes, correct, and that's the issue I'm
Because
having.
the AI could outplace. No, you're absolutely right, and that is actually a legitimate concern. That is actually a very good concern because if you can't control the machine and the machine can act independently, then you've essentially created artificial life and you've also created an artificial problem.
Yes, and so when it comes down to are you trying to create an artificial human or an AI supercomputer?
Yes.
The AI supercomputer by necessity can't be shackled to a human-based mindset because humans take forever to come up with solutions because humans do it by trial and error at a certain rate.
Then there's safety precautions because we don't want to hurt anyone, and the machine will find the most direct method. So, for example, medical technology in World War II, this always cycles back here, advanced instrumentally thanks to horrific war crimes committed by both the Japanese and the Germans. These war crimes and medical trials were decided to be kept so that the sacrifices of those who perished in them would not have been for nothing. And it was a big debate whether or not to keep that knowledge. And that knowledge advanced our understanding of how long it takes somebody to die in cold water. How long does it take somebody to die of like this? Like, how much time do we have? Can a person be underwater frozen and drown before we can revive them? We learned all of that through those trials. And while it was horrible that those happened, medical technology advanced tremendously because of it. But it cost a lot of good human life to do so. But a machine isn't going to place value in human life. It's just a number. There's just X amount of units. These units, new human units, can be made. All it takes is just a few generations and we'll have replaced the losses, because of population growth. It does not take much. And so you don't want a machine to do that because it's cold calculus, right? It's cold. It doesn't care, It didn't care that roach bait died. It didn't make the thing happen. It was easier to exploit than anything else. Terratine donates 15 Norwegian kroner, says, so it's warmer 40k level of hate for AI or some other pro AI sci-fi. 40k, no. 40k is a bit different. Not quite related. Mostly because 40k AI doesn't have any quantifiable existence, even in its setting. And also it's contradictory in its own lore because it says that it values human life or life in general, but it also doesn't. And so it's just whatever the writer wills. So we're not going to waste time with that.
It's
contradictory. Because you can interpret it both ways. Is it the Imperium's AI or is it the Tau's AI, which somehow works and doesn't have problems?
Well, it's not even just that. It's the AI from humans' great past that doesn't have issues either, apparently.
Yeah, because it's weird. Like, only certain points do the AI actually have problems. And so it's like 40k has like this different fantasy interpretation of what AI is. Most science fiction settings do too. For example, Star Trek The Next Generation, the character Data, they handle it decently well for most of the show. In some show episodes, it's not as good as it should be, in my opinion. But they do treat the whole, like, he doesn't have emotions. Or he doesn't experience emotions, and he's trying to interpolate how to experience the human experience, but also not able to quite get it. Like, he can make beautiful art, and he knows mathematically that is good art, but it doesn't mean anything to him. He can make beautiful music and sing and whatnot, but it doesn't mean anything because, he's just a machine. It doesn't carry the same feeling because he doesn't have feelings.
I just like the idea that one of the reasons why Halo 4 is still a great fucking game to me is the storyline in which Cortana is like trying to question what it means to be alive and wants to know how it feels to do a lot of things. And Chief is just sitting there cleaning his fucking gun.
See, I don't know, dude. I'm a machine. Chief is a
listen,
machine, basically. That's because Chief was like highly indoctrinated into being what he is. He's more machine than he is human in a lot of ways.
Tarantine donates another 50 knocks. Or maybe it's the AI from Star Sector, and the AI think one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic.
That's not... What did you say, Stellaris? That's just Stalin.
Yeah, that is Stalin.
Star Sector.
I was gonna say that's Stalin. That's a Stalin quote. That's a Stalin.
You know, the best laid plans never survived the first encounter, Kibbs, for the hit game Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Or the will of... What was it? The will of a single man can change like the history of the world or whatever, like Modern Warfare 2. And because Makarovin's like, well, no, that's not necessarily from Modern Warfare 2. That's not from... But it quoted a lot of people throughout history. And World War I and all Call of Duty games, when you die, there's like quotes too from various generals and people of importance throughout military history.
Yeah. Oh yeah, now the
How about the Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell?
I've never seen Ghost in the Shell.
They had a sad ending.
They do have a sad ending.
Isn't that the little bee boots with the 4 little legs?
Spider tanks, yes.
Yeah.
Spider tanks.
All I know is there's a sad thing
throughout the series.
Yeah,
yes.
it's a sad thing. That's all I know.
They sacrificed themselves.
They went out like heroes.
Save.
One day we'll watch it. I've always wanted to watch it. It's on my list of things.
Some episodes are really good, and other ones there's
boring as fuck.
Some animation.
Damn.
Basically, some episodes they blew all their animation budget, and they had to not have much.
Okay. So it's basically Star Trek: The Next Generation, where you get the good, the bad, and the boring.
Yes, there'll be episodes of people just stand there and talking, and their mouths aren't even moving.
Because TNG had that too, where it's like this episode skip. This episode.
Yeah, it's some of it's really good, some it's like boring.
Oh, shame. And there's like the 3 types of AI, and they rebelled at the start, killing people. Well, see, I'm waiting for Star Sector. There's a big patch coming for that, by the way, for those interested.
It's getting close to 1.0.
It will soon be out. Star Sector, for those who don't know, is basically Bannerlord, but in space, where you can basically lead like space armadas and stuff. It's pretty cool.
With probably better combat than Bannerlord.
Yeah, the combat's actually pretty good. Let's see. Okay, let's see.
I
J
need to
Rod
get
says in 40K verse, feeling originate from the soul. There was a book or short story about how the Necron Black Stone tech removed the warp from an entire sector of space and the human planets in their. Okay, I think he's typing the other part.
Felt it in there, yeah.
Oh.
Whatever.
Didn't die,
No,
but just stayed still and died of malnutrition.
because it removed their soul, basically.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's also because it has a spiritual connotation, right?
Yeah.
Duckin says, well, I'd argue even boring episodes can be worthwhile if you care for the plot. Sometimes the boring episodes have like certain plot advancements in them that where it's like you gotta pay attention, or it's setting up something for a character that's going to be developed later into a episodic story. Go ahead, Buck. You had a take on that too?
I was gonna say that in Ghost in the Shell, I remember, like, I don't remember the exact storyline. All I do is remember the feelings of being, wow, this is really boring. In certain areas, because the commander, doing all her crazy shit, great. The robots doing their spider tank stuff, great. And then there's like certain points where she's going back into her past and like just wandering around talking. And it's like, okay, but I don't know if we even need all this.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if we need specifically that you moved from shell to shell because of this action. We just need to know that you did it at all. That you've just been living your life moving from one shell of a machine to the next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. Where a writer will write something, because I've done this before. Like I got yelled at by what was it, Licky and Toomba yesterday, because I was writing something for the Red Sun Dream, but then I was going on a tangent on something that doesn't fucking matter. And then you guys pointed out, like, this doesn't really matter in context, everything.
Words to like and spotted that first.
Yeah, he did. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It kind of ruins the flow and pacing. And so what Artemis is talking about is absolutely right. You need to be careful to make sure that it's like, okay, you want to establish like this character has to move from shell to shell because it's like the ghost in the shell, it's her spirit, right, or whatever, her consciousness. Then you need to be careful to make sure that you only note that information when it's relevant and you don't linger on a subject too long, because if it's not an interesting subject, you're going to start to have what we call fall off, and fall off is not good. Because you clearly were disinterested by those episodes, and so you're being affected by that. All right, sounds good. But that is not good, because fall off is bad, chat. When a creator, when an audience experiences fall off, and that could have happened, because in the lore video I was working on, it was basically talking about like the history of mankind and its connection to the Red Sun Dream and what it meant to its society. But I was just following a lecture that a character was giving, and I'm not going to go into detail with what that lecture was, but then she started talking about the historical context of what happens following a period of time. Well, the reality is that particular thing, the first human galactic war in the Dreamway Galaxy, doesn't matter in context of the Red Sun Dream, because the Galactic War itself isn't really connected to the Red Sun Dream, so it's kind of not relevant information.
Yep.
Especially when the character's interest and focus is on the Red Sun Dream and what it means culturally and historically in impact and why it's important to their society. And so it's always important to remember that when making a story, because this happens with TV shows, this happens with video games or campaigns, or lots of games and media do this, where they'll have like a side story or thing that happens and doesn't make sense. A great example of this is the dream state sections in games, where a character's going through a weird like dream state world, and it's like a popular trend and trope in gaming, and every game seems to have it, especially any sort of single player action games usually get these. Great, let's use an example. Dying Light 1 has this, where Kyle Crane, he's got my name, it's Kyle, damn it. He has a dream state sequence at the end of the game where his love interest dies, and like he's like hopping around objects as like he's hearing these voices from his past, and none of this really matters to the context of the story, because, well, the girl love interest is dead, and now he needs to go kill the guy who killed her. You know, it's the classic revenge, get the bad guy kind of story. By the way, welcome back, Bucky.
You have that
We're talking about
slightly
Dying Light.
backwards.
Oh yeah, go ahead and correct me on that. But it's the same
So,
thing. It kind of didn't
He's
matter.
turning, and it does like a dream sequence thing. If I because I played it last year.
Yeah.
Basically, then like it ends with she gives the injection to you, and then you kill her.
You kill her, yeah. But the dream sequence was kind of out of place. It was like this whole like trippy state thing, and a lot of games fall into this trope where it's like Max Payne did this, because Max Payne was the first game I played where they had the dream sequence, and every game since Max Payne 1 is like, we gotta have a dream sequence. And
Far Cry does that a lot.
And playing Max Payne, I'll tell you right now, the drug pain sequence thing was kind of unnecessary. It was goofy and funny, but it was kind of like, okay, like it kind of takes you out of the gameplay loop and interrupts the good gameplay. And it wasn't really necessary to tell you what you already knew, because it's just regurgitating old information. So video games do this too, where they take a piece of information or a level and they make a bad level or a bad story. And usually it's just never really good. It's usually done for padding in a lot of media. In the case of when Artemis was talking about Ghost in the Shell, it was done for financial reasons, because it was financially more viable to save budget for the next animation for a more interesting action sequence. Versus,
or like when in Halo, like which Halo was it? Like where you run back through the same level except the opposite direction.
Halo 1.
Halo.
It's the snow level where you do it's like
Is
the
it,
arrows are backwards now.
2 Portrayals or something?
2 Portrayals, yeah.
It's actually a couple levels that do that.
Yep. Yeah. In Halo 1, because they ran out of development time. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in the code that was cut, including the fact that that level was supposed to be a lot more interesting with like allied NPCs fighting with you. And because of development time, they couldn't actually finish those levels, and so you just run through them backwards, and there's nothing really different about them, and they're kind of hollow and empty, and they're boring. If you want to see what the developers actually wanted to do for that, you can download Ruby's Rebalance for Halo CE, and it's not better. It's not like it's a great level, but it's better substantially, because at least there's like things happening and story is happening, versus you just walking around in the snow at night and like nothing happens. Except some
People
random
don't
enemy
remember
encounters.
those levels though.
Nobody normally remembers the bad levels in the game. A great example of this:
everyone remembers the first half.
Red Faction 1. Everyone, if I say Red Faction 1, if you're a big fan of the classics, everyone's like, "Oh, Red Faction 1's the best," and that's great. 2/3 of it's great. The last third, fuck, it's ass.
My favorite part is when they could shoot you through walls, or
they can shoot you through walls with rail guns, and they just wall hack, and it's the worst thing ever. And then the final boss level is just like a quarter that repeats itself 4 times as it snakes to an empty box room where you have to circle strafe a boss. Awful.
Another good example would be Dark Souls. The first one.
I have not played the first. Well, no, I have. I have actually played it.
Near the end, like when you go in like the demon areas and stuff,
yeah,
you can very clearly see they only had time to make the map because they clearly just placed a bunch of enemies around, because you can just see them on, because you can have an overview of the whole thing. You just see enemies just standing there placed in the open, and it looks really bad.
Yeah. Oh,
because they ran out of time.
Yeah, I like how we segued into level design and tropes, but this is actually an important question, because this is actually tethered to not necessarily AI and VI, but it's tethered to a big problem in the games industry when it comes to a lacking of like being able to finish something through, or worse, they've got a great idea and the great idea lasts for like half of the game and the rest is padding because they didn't think it through. That happens a lot, where you're playing a game and like, this is really fun, and then like halfway through you're like, this is really not fun anymore. Like, I can't wait loaded.
I can't wait for AI to become so prevalent people forget how to perform skills.
I mean, that's already
we just talked about that. Yes. So the big danger with AI is the loss of information, right? Because that's why we talked about like the die making, right? If you forget how to make something and do something, and you rely on AIs to do everything, or in this case, a super advanced VIs, then you're going to become worse across the board, right? Like when I use Clip Studio Paint and was drawing your Chatfish, if I use some of the tools in there, I could make my drawing easier and look better, but I'm not going to, because that's cheating. And if I do that, I won't grow my skill, and my skill will be always kind of not that good. My line working will never get better unless I manually draw lines. Turning on the line correction tool, which helps, or stabilizers to help stabilize my lines, will not help me. It will become a crutch, and I will become a worse person for using it.
Okay, well then here's going to be the follow-up question, Kibbs.
But
At what point is technology so redundant and so unnecessary that you stop needing to learn it?
so redundant, so unnecessary. Like travel, I guess, is one thing. Cars, driving around. Like, do we need to worry about how to maintain those? You normally just take them to a shop and have a specialist see it, right?
Doesn't make them redundant. So, for example, do you need to know how to sail a boat?
No, I don't.
Do you know?
I
How,
couldn't.
do you know
I
how to
couldn't
do that?
sail. I couldn't sail a boat. The only I know. My cousin knows how. He talked about it with me once because he sailed around the Caribbean, and
Yep.
like I know only a little bit, but not enough to survive. Like I'd be dead.
Okay. Do you need to know how to rig a sail at all?
Nope, not in the slightest.
So how far into the future until humans say, okay, well, sailboats aren't really necessary anymore. We can move on from them. Well, you say, okay, we don't need to learn this skill anymore because it's kind of antiquated to the point where it doesn't apply.
I mean, technically, because of modern boat technology and motors, we don't need to, but it's become an art and it's become a fashion.
Correct. And so when you're talking about you're not using the line thing, I'm referring back to the fact that it's so reliable and so useful that you're now deciding that it's an art thing not to use it.
That's true. Because there are tools to use it, but it also, if you want to, like, self-improve or do certain things, then you're gonna have to do things manually, right? Like, does it feel good? I could just buy tomatoes from the grocery store, but I kind of wish I could have my own tomato garden so I could grow my own tomatoes to make my own things, because tomatoes are so versatile as like a fruit. Sees if anyone gets mad. Sees if anyone can. There's a lot you can do with tomatoes, and there's something nice about growing your own because you can have them fresh. There's a value in it, right? Learning how to have a what do you call it, a garden thumb or a green thumb is a good trait to have.
Yeah.
Knowing how to grow food is important
Vegetables.
when the end times come.
When the end times come.
When? Wow, what a doomer.
When
Yes.
the sun consumes us all.
Oh my god, humanity will eclipse the sun.
In weight and scale.
Damn! Chunky humans floating through space as whales. It's like, I didn't see this coming.
Star
bird.
vampires.
This coming.
What do you think the conclusion to Interstellar was?
The Bucky whale just puts a little straw into the sun. Like,
Oh, Interstellar is such a bad plot.
oh my god, I hate Interstellar. Like, it's visually and artistically a fun movie, but because I value story, the idea that they spend that much money on resources going to the moon when they could have, I don't know, built containment centers and safe quarantined greenhouses, or build stations in orbit to farm above the planet so that they could keep the crops clean of the disease. I just hate it. I hate it. And like, where are the literally the biologist scientists? Okay, they have all the space scientists, but there are
They
other
were all
scientists
killed,
called
obviously.
biologists, and their entire job is with dealing and virologists that are meant to deal with these particular diseases.
Don't you remember, Kibbs? The only scientists still left were the NASA scientists, because they were still alive because the government shut them down because they refused to drop stuff from space onto people who were protesting about food.
The move is dumb. The move is dumb. The move is dumb.
So,
I'm
Chat, I'll let
vindicated.
you understand. You will never need subsistent farming knowledge whatsoever in your life. If all of the world was hit with an EMP and it fucked up literally everything imaginable, we would only go back to like 1950s technology, and then we would rapidly go back to 2000s technology shortly thereafter.
Yes, there would be points of starvation. Cities would be in trouble, and there would be rationing and whatnot. But we would recover because we have the capability to produce technology that doesn't require electronics, and we have the know-how to do it still.
Yeah. And then the Middle East and third world countries will not be affected whatsoever, except for their air conditioning.
They'll be like, "What? It's still shitty as it was yesterday." It's still shit, and then we'll eclipse them again technologically. Damn. Damn. Just sitting over there, frumpy faced. Like, God damn it! I can't believe we got passed twice as a civilization.
Plus, most military vessels, like ships and stuff, are relatively immune to EMPs. Due to all the fucking metal between them and the actual main controls.
Yep, because while it would damage certain infrastructure that was unprotected, a decent amount would be protected, and anything not plugged in and replacement parts could just be plugged in afterwards, and they would run fine. Yeah. Because they would be safe. Because if a device, in case Chatfish don't know, if you have a device that's powered off, and I mean truly powered off, as in no power's running through it whatsoever, because if your phone still has a battery in it, an EMP will still affect it, because technically I think it's partially on still. But if you have something that's truly off, it will not be affected in the slightest because of how the electromagnetic pulse works. I forget what does it zap exactly? The fucking
tell you.
What was that?
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna let you figure it out.
Damn it, chat. When the pulse hits, it does something to when devices are on because electrical current's going through them. And when it does that, it fries like the components and makes it so it can't work anymore.
Uh-huh.
And so it's toast.
Otherwise chat known as resistors and capacitors.
Yes. Yes.
And the transistors.
So technically, I mean, for a lot of equipment, you could probably just replace the transistors and capacitors and it would just turn on.
Maybe. Depends on where the short is. When I melted the solder.
Or if it melted the whole board. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you'd have to use... you would have to solder around the traces that were damaged. I have a few of those components I've had to fix before.
Honestly, like a massive EMP couldn't wipe out our society. It would just be like a speed bump.
It would be a hefty
flare that took out FM radio last year, says Light Motorcyclist.
Probably. But it was almost no consequential impact.
Yeah, the Earth produces a magnetic shield that protects us from solar flares.
Oh.
For the most part.
Within certain categories of solar flares, yes.
Yes. I mean, it is possible for a solar flare large enough to be produced that would wipe us off the face of the Earth. Just blast us off like, wow. Then we're fucked.
Well, Night Motorcyclist, I can tell you I could last without my smartphone for one day.
What do you say? People in modern society can't function without their smartphones for one day. I'd be fine. I've got a jar of pickles now.
The idea of you surviving off of a jar of pickles as rents due.
Like, I've become Gollum crawling around my jar.
Actually, don't we have like an image of that? Of Eric with a jar of pickles?
No.
Yeah. See, Kibbs, you know why I know you wouldn't be able to survive one day without your phone?
Why is that?
Or the ways of contacting the internet? It's because you would immediately start thinking about what your fucking team is up to.
I would have
talking to himself. What do you think, chat?
It would drive you insane.
Yeah, it would. So if if I were to lose all power for like a month, right? I think I would probably have a heart attack and die before power came back. Like, I would probably stress out so bad it wouldn't be funny. I'd probably start writing in my notebook instead, back to like I used to try to make as much progress every day on the lore. I'd probably get so much work done, it would be insane, honestly, with writing.
And he dies, and then I take over.
And then I still have my jar of pickles, only partially eaten. Only partially.
Guaranteed donates again, Kibbs.
13 Noise 50 Norwegian Kroner says, if you go school for electrician, don't slam a big resistor into a power socket. XD. Why did you do that? Did you do? He's just dead. Is that meme where there's the electrician and there's just burnt shoes? Because he's gone.
I should grab the Airman Larry video again.
No, that video makes me sad because he's. At first, I'm like, oh, is this like an actor? No, that actually happened to him.
What happened?
Airman Larry
Airman
did
Larry.
lost both his arms.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. He hasn't seen it, so we're gonna watch it.
No! No! No!
Airman Larry, electrical safety.
I guess he should have listened to his own course.
Well, yeah.
Well, the course is named after him. So.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
okay.
named after him because of what happened to Airman Larry.
There you go, kids.
This may be inappropriate for some viewers.
Shocker.
We're gonna skip the parts where his arms had to be removed
What?
because that is inappropriate for YouTube.
It's on YouTube, so I don't know if it's inappropriate for YouTube.
Okay, so yeah, his recovery period. Okay, there we go. I had to skip 10 minutes of it
Wow.
because that'll get me flagged. Because this video got flagged. But yeah, so this is a footage from Airman Larry. He doesn't have arms anymore. There's the stitches on his little stumps. And basically what happened to Airman Larry is that he used both his arms to touch some electrical exposed components and fried his arms to the point where his arms were dead. They were dead. They had to slice them off. And so he's relearning how to operate in society while using his mouth, his feet, and I think they give him like some prosthetics to use. And it's about electrical safety. And the whole point of Airman Larry's video about Airman Larry is to try to teach you to be, what's the word? Smart. Be careful when dealing with electricity. Electricity is dangerous. Or you could end up like Airman Larry. Having to eat with that. But he's relearning how to live in society and function.
So, kids, if you skip back to the beginning of the video, you
No.
can just find out what he did. Because they just have a video of him just like, yeah, like that.
Is that him just like dead?
Yeah,
Is that him dead?
that's just him. It's probably reenacting what happened to him, but
But he like grabbed
basically
the
what
wire.
happened is, well, he didn't grab a wire down voltage line. He touched it with the fucking hood of his car, and the cars back then were all metal.
Yep, and basically
so-
zapped the fuck out of him.
Yeah, that's why his arms are fine. And I think it went down through his foot and out his like pinky toe or something.
Mm.
Yeah. Which is probably how he was trying to get out of the car, which got him zapped.
Poor Airman Larry.
Yep. Well, there you go, chat. This is why you don't fuck around with electricity.
Yeah, electricity's dangerous. I mean, there's actual like footage of like a white flash in some room or whatever, and an electrician, it's gone, and it's just his shoes. He exploded. That's why I don't want to be an electrician.
What? You need to be an electrician,
Gibbs,
kid. We need
have you
this video.
seen the video of the four
Roach with steamy
Chinamen
shoes.
that are pushing a metal
Oh,
scaffolding and
no.
they pushed it into the high voltage straight line?
They did, and then all four of them fell in the water and died.
Now, let's see.
Real Hosenator donates $5.
Now we can't
Hey,
pull up
everyone,
those videos.
How's it going?
Those are
We're learning
TOS
about
violations.
electrical safety with Bucky.
Yes. And why it's important to not be, dumb when dealing with electricity and always be smart. And if the power line falls on your car, be very, very, very careful. And never grab something, because when electricity goes through you, your hands will grab down and like close into a fist. That's why never grab like a power line for whatever reason with the front of your hand for what if you have to do for some reason, because your hand will close into a fist around it. The
Here you go,
back.
kids. Here's a video you can watch where nobody seems to die in it.
Nobody seems to die is too.
Well, because they're getting up. Well, not getting up. They're still moving after the fact. So, like all the people you see on the ground are moving around afterwards.
Moving around because they're dying in the death throes, or
No, Just like the scoot, like you'll see if the guy's like scoot his butt away from the fucking thing.
This already looks sketchy. It looks like some third world country, and I see a lot of wires hanging around.
This is usually where electrical accidents do happen. Yes.
Yep, he zapped himself.
So he's like, so his arms are like cooked at that point.
And that guy's like, ooh.
Oh yeah, because he probably took the brunt of that, to be honest. So he's gonna have to shake it off. But yeah, don't fuck around. Even if you're touching wood, don't fuck around with goddamn electricity. I won't show the train one. The train one's bad.
Alzinator donates another $5. Put on wiggly meat.
Ah, wiggly meat.
So I'm gonna show you this one, kids, but don't show this to chat. This is the one you're referring to, which is the arc flash incident.
I don't even know where wiggly meat is, actually. Yeah, I can't show that.
Yeah, you can't show that, no. It even warns you not to show that. But yeah, don't fuck around with electricity, chat. I don't wear jewelry at all because of this.
Yep. Not a good idea, chat bros.
Also, chat. I need you to donate towards Prey. We need to make. We need to make
really
Prey.
not been paying attention, has he, chat?
No, I haven't. What is it? Is it done?
Prey was funded a while ago.
It
Oh
was?
shit. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, he wasn't paying attention either, so you can't
Hey,
blame
but
me.
Gibbs
right
doesn't
here.
pay attention to the donor sheet
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. Okay. Well, fine.
He never has.
Then we'll do. What other terrible game can we make Gibbs play? Almost a week ago. Okay, that's fine. Chat. What other terrible game can we start funding right now?
What if it's a good game? Just like, what? And they vomit.
Mission of the Druids.
No. Mission of the Druids is a bad game. Bucky wouldn't want that anyways. Oh. There goes my bottle cap. If you're working with high voltage power lines, you wear a suit of chainmail. Zapfish.
Amnesia, Dark Sun. The game's way overrated. Shower with your dad simulator.
That's
That
upsetting.
is just a joke game that's like got 10
mean-
minutes of content.
I think I streamed or made videos on that like ages ago.
Life is strange, life is strange. Just saying it 4 times in a row, J-Rod, doesn't mean that it's...
Maybe we should have Gibbs play Sky Oblivion.
Sky Oblivion? Is that even out?
Yeah. It's on its way out.
Yinla says Peter Jackson
Ugh.
King Kong official movie game.
That's
Cuckold
apparently like a
Simulator.
hidden gem. No, we're not doing that.
Cuckold
Fetish
Simulator
game.
has actual people identities, like people in IRL in them, so you can't do that.
Yeah. It's unethical chatfish.
Make clips.
Chatfish.
Make clips.
Ethics.
Hey, plays for.
Spore.
Orc Massage. That is a porn game.
Orc Massage is a porn game. The orc gives girls massages and then fucks them. The Real Halsey donates $5 and says, this and the previous $10 to Metroid Other M in dispute of Bucky's question. Also, when do Metroid Zero mission? When I start seeing Halsey on a daily basis. So I can confirm that Halsey will be loyal and around.
Well, why don't you schedule an appointment for him?
An appointment? That sounds like
So
effort.
you
I
want to
think
start
Halsey
a
should be a
Metroid
slave.
Zero mission? No, Metroid Other M. Okay.
Let me take a look at the funding goals.
Oh my gosh.
Never put skirt fund to that, Halsey.
I'm assuming that he wants an actual thumbnail for that.
So, Chatfish, do you like this fan art that Blake made. I think he did a good job with it.
No, he should have had Aerith pointing at the buy orange box.
Save game. I like how that was a joke I did at the end. It's like we at the end we established that Valve
that's
is
what
like
it all leads to.
Valve is the savior.
All of that leads to that.
Buy orange box, save gaming, stop communism. Stop communism, support game. Stop communism. Saudis question mark? I like how they're it's a question mark behind her
Gibbs
head.
promised a year ago to play Star Trek Armada 3.
I said I would try. Wait, didn't I actually play that actually? Hold on. That Star Trek Armada 3 is for Sins of Solar Empire. I did play that. I done diddly did.
Suffer Spore Fund. Okay, just keep in mind when you start all these little haha funny funds, they'll eventually get caught.
Funny fun. Listen, if Chatfish wants to dump their money into something that doesn't ever get funded, then why shouldn't they?
After all, why shouldn't I?
So, kids, when are you going to be playing Turok?
A little bit. Why? Today.
Today?
Yeah.
That part of your schedule?
Yes, it is scheduled.
It's scheduled.
Crazy. Hold on, let me take a look here.
Why say it's crazy?
Hold up, what the fuck?
What the fuck? What? What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
The first Berserker Kazan. That just came out, didn't it? Pretty sure it's just a Souls game. Yeah, literally Steam is doing the special release for it because it has it on the front page.
Now, back to VI and AI and video games. So,
yes,
the big thing is that there's already game devs that have actually been making use of AI, quote unquote AI, VI stuff. And that is, Stardock has used it for their procedural generation, for making like custom races in Galactic Civ. They've also used it to generate placeholder art for their game Sins of Solar Empire 2, and it actually has a lot of practical uses, especially when used correctly. So the big thing is that Silica, another RTS, uses VI as well, and it uses it to generate placeholder art for their intro cinematic. Using it for placeholders for a video game is actually one of the best uses for VI, because artists take time to produce concept art to make the art for the actual piece, and VI art is good because it can be a placeholder for the artists while the artists actually make the art, and then you can move on and work the other thing. And that way, you can then replace that art later. So in our studio, we have Lycanfish working on a storyboard, and he's been explicitly told not to color, not to render, just to do line work, right? And only line work. That way, when the other artist, Carlos, looks over it and starts adding, or we start adding more lore things to it, it's easy to change so we don't have to do it. Now, we don't have AI in our studio because I have a rule against it, because I think it's not a good habit to become a crutch, but it does have practical uses in game development, and there are some indies that actually use it to help generate sprite lists for their games, even like 8-bit style. Now, obviously, it's not going to be like the best art ever, and it's not going to be conform or uniform, because the big issue with AI art using it on a large scale is that it doesn't have a uniform, or maybe it does have a uniform look. Maybe that's the issue. It always has this uncanny vibe, especially when it's multiple pieces, but it's a great place to set up and use for a placeholder for when you're making proper art for the actual game. And it helps indies because it allows indies to sort of show people their ideas without having to invest a lot of money into it to see if people even bite to begin with, and then they can build it up later as they progress. Halsey donates a lot of money, and I gotta read this. Let's see. Kib already has to play the OG Oblivion, Bucky. #SF. That's on the list? Those artists need to hurry up. Halsey donates $5 and says, yes, new thumbnail with sad derpy Samus, and this and the previous 15 to Skirt Fund, and this to Metroid Other M, and when for Civ 4 colonization. Also, Kibbs, you refunded your $50 for Kibbs' choice for Civ 4 colonization fund, right? Other refunded? What? Kibbs,
yeah,
I don't know what he's talking about. I think the Civ 4 one got cut, and he's talking about you put it somewhere else then, but that's not really how that works.
Did you put it somewhere else, Gibbs?
No, I didn't move it. I didn't.
So you just let it evaporate.
I put money into it. I helped fund it.
But did it get funded fully?
Yeah, it is funded fully.
Is
I even
it?
talked to Indio about it. Indio's gonna be reworking the thumbnail so that it has Holsey Polsey's fish on it.
Oh right.
good.
That was, it wasn't really so much funded as much as it's just getting.
Touched up,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
why it's
waiting
not
for
listed
Indio
as
to
a
send it to
thumbnail.
me.
More money, Kibbs.
He's currently working on the docky. J-Rod donates $5 and says, Kib should play the new RTX Half-Life 2 mod. Well, if Chatfish pay for it, I will do it eventually, if they
All
pay
these new
substantially.
funds starting.
But
up.
I will warn you that the Half-Life 2 RTX mod is a demo. It only has 2 levels. And I will also warn you that you can't complain at me when it makes your eyes hurt, because it made my eyes hurt too.
So, chat, just let you know, we're over 2/3 of the way there to Skirt Fund.
Chatfish, you need to donate, because we are behind. But you need to donate specifically, not for that. You need to... Chatfishies won't... See, I'm 30, Chatfish. I can't be a femboy. It's over for me.
All right, chat.
I'm an
if
old
you
man.
can cover the other 30,000, I'll cover the last 2.
No, you won't.
Okay, that's accepted.
Why did you say that, Chumba? Chumba, you're joking.
If chat suddenly throws in $30,000,
That's not what you said.
Yeah, no, you need to clarify. And so we're not doing that. I'm not letting you do that. That's dumb. Clarify, you moron. Or I'd fucking beat you.
It's just...
Because I'm just like, did you realize that they're not going to fund it in one day, right? And you need to ask. You're making juvenile mistakes that I made when I started. So you need clarifications.
A joke.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah,
That's why I asked, because I'm like, don't tell chat that, because don't make them start donating for something.
Well, look, Rifford has given me a choice of 5 memberships.
They give the gift of memberships, very generous. No, I fully funded it and gave the extra 50 so you could take Kib's Choice money back,
That's right.
SF or other M's. Oh, maybe that did happen. I can't remember.
So you know what, Kibbs? You can put it towards Assassin's Creed Shadows if you want.
No. I already said that because we didn't do... I said, chat, it's the standard curse fund of 1,000. Nobody put a cent towards it. I'm like, all right. Because
All right,
nobody funded it.
I'll do it
No, it's
for-
10,000 now. So it's too late. It's too late.
Shadow of War.
Good. Okay. To get louder.
You're putting it the Tony Favreau Shadow
Yeah,
of War.
Assassin's
Shadow of
Creed
War and
Shadows
Skirt Fund, yeah.
is $10,000 to even get me to stream it, because I'm gonna tell you
And
right
Skirt
now,
Fund?
I don't want to buy that piece of shit, chat, and that's the rate because I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, or
Or
the
the superior. I just don't want kids playing Yasuke Simulator in case it that you start flagging it for like racism or something.
race. Well, I've already been flagged already. Beano Harlot donates some membership and says, nothing,
You hit and miss.
because you can't type things. Because you can't say.
So, yeah, I'm about to come up with something. Chat. Maybe we should make, if we meet Saturday's goal, so we got to catch up. Maybe we can announce something close today that might be coming out soon.
Like what?
Something.
What would something be, chat?
As a reminder, chat,
Narrows
there
eyes
is
and
still a bounty on Decompresso. Max
Decompresso?
tier bounty.
That is true. Decompresso is available to be slapped with memberships. If you slap him successfully, you win a prize. You win
You
several
win a lot of
prizes,
prizes.
actually. And if you're press it, you just give away those prizes. Speaking of giving away prizes, don't we have another thing to raffle off?
We do.
And it's not a comm slot. because I
commission
claimed
slot.
That. No, I claimed
You
that.
claimed that?
Yeah, it's mine.
So, kids, if you don't show the chat, but if
Okay,
you
well,
look in
then
here,
I need to tag whoever you wanted for that.
Yeah, tag Indio. He's mine. No, we already did that. We already did that. Don't take
Did
him
I?
again.
Are
Yeah.
those for...
Don't take him again, or he's gonna get angry. Or he's gonna get angry.
Alright, tagging him again.
so kids, if you look in the stream room without showing chat,
Okay.
that's the thing.
Oh, gotcha. Roger. Chat bros, I promise we'll do something special Sunday. And if I lie to you, I'm gonna stab Bucky. Because
No.
because
No,
it's not
unless
my...
you're not on the raffle, because no one signed up for this raffle.
Sunday is going to have something. Sunday is going to have something very, very special. Or I'm going to be playing Amnesia: Dark Descent, and I'm going to be stabbing Bucky because it would be his fault.
There you go, chat.
As
You
long
don't
as we
beat
catch
Saturday's
up
goal,
to,
though.
if we catch up to Saturday's goal, yes, which we are a day behind. There you go, chat. There you go. I discounted something I really didn't want to do, and I'm either going to give you something awesome tomorrow, and if I lie to you, I'm going to play Amnesia Dark Descent. And if I lie to you, know that it wasn't my fault. I was told things, and it's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault.
There you go, chat.
Yes, you have
You've
to
been told,
tag at me if you want in the raffle for the pocket fish.
Yes, there's a raffle for a pocket fish. A pocket fish is a chatfish you can put on a thumbnail of your choice that is upcoming. A pocket fish is a smaller, cute, adorable little guy who looks at you.
No, as a reminder, chat, if a thumbnail is marked as they've already started it, we're not allowing people to buy onto that anymore.
Yes, because the artist is going to
Gregor's
stab
has,
you. Or
gifted
stab
a
me.
membership.
Thank you for the gift of membership, Rifford. Very generous. And Gregors, congratulations on receiving that membership. Now you may put goofy little chatfish emotes into chat.
I find it funny that Gregor's had just said acceptable and then got awarded a fucking chatfish.
Exactly.
I refuse, Yinless.
Kib lied. Chatfish died. Wrong. Green Branch gives a membership. Have to pay respects. Presset is still in chat because he just said that he's been a member for 28 months. Thank you for your long-term support. Remember, chat, you can fund Mystery of the Druids because I did set it at a nominally low rate of 1,000. It's already being funded by Former Ghost. Now, I will warn you that if I get angry in that stream, you can't get mad at me if you pay for that. Because Mystery of the Druids may be funny to watch, but it plays like a fucking piece of shit.
Look, F. Presset has donated 50 memberships.
Thank you for the gifted memberships. Very generous. Little Presset man. Jeez, Presset. All right, Chatfish, I've decided. All of you are going to enlist in the military. And apparently whenever people join the military, they gift a lot of memberships. So, chat, I've decided that I'll be accepting the Air Force's sponsorship. I'll be accepting the Air Force. We are a military-approved recruitment channel. No, I'm joking.
Oh, shit.
Join the Bickering bunch and become a member of the
Kermit
US
the
Air
Frog
Force.
has been given
Hold on.
membership.
Yeah, we need to check. We need to double check if he hits him again.
Who? Who are we looking for?
A decompressor.
Olsey donates $5. Say, chatfish on screen, please. SF. That's right. You do have a chatfish. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That spells Holzinator for you and me. I think fucking Numbnuts put a T in your name for some reason. Didn't he? The real Holzinator? I hate you. No wonder why I can never find it. No,
But that's his name. He's the real
Did you
Holzinator.
actually update your list, Gibbs?
Not yet. Did you get a new... Excuse me. Too much Coca-Cola.
Yes, I renamed all of them a while ago.
Yes,
Gibbs.
there's a new chatfish that's joining.
So anytime it says my choice, Rapier, just put it towards that so you don't have to think about it.
But there's what?
Don't worry about it.
Is this a secret?
No.
Why can't I be told?
Because if you were paying attention, you would have heard it.
I'm not listening again, Kib. You can,
All right, chat.
you can make me. I can make you.
Chat to make sure.
Listen,
so
chat.
you see him get hit. Make sure to say.
When
it.
chatfish disappear when they're in boot camp, it sucks. But then when they get out of boot camp, then they really start to roll.
Their bonuses are ours.
Why waste that money on a car when you're just going to lose it anyways when you go back in? When you can waste it on me, Kib.
Why waste it on a brand new Mustang?
No, it's a joke, President. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my god.
Look, kids,
You guys are
gonna
break the
fucking
membership.
if things don't
I'm
happen.
pretty sure I did, Green Branch.
I'm gonna strangle
I'm having trouble keeping up.
a certain artist on our team might be lynched. The whale gives a membership. Thank you for the gifted membership. River is gifted membership. Thank you for the gifted membership. After pay respect gifts another 50 memberships. Thank you very much, good sir. It was a joke. I was joking about the whole military thing, and they donate more. Don't make me feel bad. Spelunk Jamma gives a membership. Thank you for the gift of membership. Holy shit, chat bros. Me and Grumpy IR time is over. You can't call us back up. I think it's time for you to go back to Afghanistan.
Oh, don't worry, chat. There are ways.
It's like, no.
Chat, here, let me introduce you a way you can call Commissar Czar and Grumpy back up. Ready? In their retirement rank, you go, hey, you just got promoted to lieutenant. Oh yeah, by the way, we're calling you back to service.
Janet gets a membership.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
I don't think
Congratulations,
he's been
Lieutenant.
hit.
You have a
I
job.
don't think he has been hit yet.
No, I don't. I have not seen his name yet.
Hashtag Kib's choice. Ooh, yes. I don't know what to put that towards.
Oh, well, that's $500.
For Kib's choice?
Does it say
'Cause that's
Kib's choice?
Presets. So yeah,
Holy
'cause
shit.
he did $500 right there, Gibbs.
Holy shit.
What did? Where does it say? That's Kib's choice.
I'm powerful now, Bucky.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I have influence now in my own
'Cause
channel.
I thought the first one he said it was my choice, but I want to make sure.
I didn't see him
No.
say anything.
Don't say that, Preset. Don't clarify. Shh, shh, shh. Hush, little sweet prince. Possums
Yes,
has
it
been a
seems
member
like
for 39
it has
months.
been broken.
I'm okay with AI as long as it destroys Beano. I can't-
Memberships
We need
are
a-
broken
we need-
again, chat.
We need a an AI that specifically chains Beano back up. Like all of his artwork goes through a wholesome filter.
He screams and starts banging on the computer. No!
Actually, to go back to the AI thing, because the whole make everything Ghibli art blew up. So there was people saying how OpenAI, because they're the ones that did it, was just ChatGPT that
Mhm.
was flooding it.
Yeah.
How they're getting in trouble with Studio Ghibli, and then they've pulled it. No, they have pulled it from the free version, and now to get access to that image generator, you have to pay money. So they pulled it because it was popular and blowing up, so that they could make money off of it.
Well, yes, these are corporations. Just like pirates, pirates also want to make money. Everyone always has a motive. There's an ulterior motive for everything. Whenever an artist
Gibbs,
shows up
you're-
and says AI,
Gibbs, what's your choice for $500?
I need to think about it.
Mystery of the Druids it is.
No, no.
Wouldn't even fund it.
Thank you, President. That was very, very generous of you. Thank you.
Yes, very generous. That puts us
And
close to
everyone
today's
else,
goal.
thank you for the gifted memberships. I couldn't do it without you, Chapros.
Luckily enough, Kibbs, it's looking like it's still on track.
That's on track. Good. Because if it isn't, I'm just saying, whatever artist is working on that thing that has to be done by tomorrow, not saying what that thing is, but if it's not done by tomorrow, they'll be beaten to death.
Oh, that reminds me. Let me.
'Cause I do not want to play Amnesia the Dark Descent.
Hold on. I need to get a hold of Bond for something. Let me just DM her and throw a
More
bunch of work
thumbnail
at her.
ideas.
Are you gonna pester the McBono?
Yeah, give her a bunch of more thumbnails to work on.
Commissar Czar says EU4. Commissar Czar, that means you owe me something. If you want me to put my Kib's choice to something, what will you do for me, Commissar Czar? He starts sweating. Hands him a little fucking passport, says Afghanistan. He's like, nope.
There are worse places than Afghanistan, Kibbs.
I could send him. Yeah, but
Oh,
he
Send
he has
them
a
to-
membership, and yes, they're broken.
For the goal, says Lord Possums.
Oh, thank
I'll
yeah,
still count that for now.
Possums, thank you
Harlot.
for the $20. Very generous. Yes, count them unless they get emails saying otherwise.
Yes, I'm just letting him know. Like, let us know, Harlot, if
Because
you know,
we'll
refund
take the
for
L if
issues.
that happens. Please, I might where. Oh, I can't read that. That's spoilers. Bad, McBono. Bad. Bono said nothing, Chet. Shh, shh, shh.
who said anything about
They-
thumbnails?
oh. I had to silence her. I couldn't let her spoil what could be tomorrow's thing. Chatfish, you didn't see anything. Good, Chatfish, good. Blind, oblivious, yes. As you should be. No, don't fucking.
It does still show. on
Don't
screen.
shut. Shush. You're so stupid. It's like the Three Stooges. Like the Three Stooges. Nobody gets anything here. Nobody gets. Wise guy, eh? Bonk. Wise guy.
Anyways, they still have to make today's goal to get anything.
That's true. We are very close to today's goal, and I might spare Green Branch's family if we make it.
Might.
Semper, on the other hand, He's gonna be a very lonely German boy.
You know, I have an idea, Gibbs, for what you could have your choice be.
What's that?
How about the quarantine art?
The quarantine art? Giving chat that? When they didn't show interest in it, despite the fact that I spent time
In fact,
thinking up
that
the
was enough-
story?
that
I haven't
was
even
enough
checked
to
the
fund
bucket
that
quarantine
and
zone.
the Earth conspiracy art.
You know, the last time I checked the bucket, like over there, the baby fence is still up there. I haven't even heard the chatfish since I put that up there.
See?
It's been 3 days,
You
chat.
want that art.
It's been 3 days since Chatfish made any noises. I think they all died. I think they all died. What's the quarantine? The zombie
Let
game?
me out.
No, it's a story. I started telling chat a story about what I do to Chatfish every day to see if that would inspire Chatfish to care. And they did. They cared, and they laughed at their own demise. Lord of a Possum Toys, $20. We can do it, chat, he says.
It's $100, $101 away, chat.
101 Dalmatians away. I have the PS1 game for that, by the way. Random fact of the day. Oh my god. What if we put it towards the PlayStation 1 Toy Story game?
So you just want to fund that, okay.
A child game from my childhood, chat. Then we can have
If
little baby Kib stories. Nobody likes those. Nobody likes those.
You know, actually, I have an idea. There's The Last of Us Part 2 listed here that hasn't had anything go toward. Why don't you put it towards that?
Oh
kid?
no, they're putting that on PC. Shh, don't tell chat.
Yeah,
Chat
there's a
doesn't-
couple funds down here that need
No,
to fund them, chat, if you want them to get a thumbnail.
We don't worry about that. And that last one, hundo? You know, I will be kind. I will put it towards Commissar Czar's wish. And then make a notation by the European Universalis thing to not kill that fund. Because I know Commissar Czar can't really afford to put money towards it. Whenever I get money, I will put money towards it.
You want me to make a new one. Okay.
Oh, there's a new one? Or there's an old one?
I'd have to make one. There's not.
Oh.
I just need to make more space on the sheet now.
And then notate that F. Presset and Commissar Czar should be on both those thumbnails.
For the
Yes.
Universalis.
Because F. Presset may have gifted me his memberships, but his Chatfish should still be on them. Because
So just to clarify, you want a PlayStation 1 game funded, which is what?
Toy Story.
Toy Story?
Hell yeah. Oh my god, dudes. It's going to be a trip. I'm going to actually dust off my PS... No, I don't need my PS1. The PS2 plays it. Never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
Jokes on Kibs. I've got a PS that gate days age Kib. What?
And
Toy
then
Story
you
game?
want...
I don't remember. It's one of them. And right that I will make the Toy Story thumbnail so the stream happens sooner. So Chatfish can buy onto it. That'll be tomorrow's thumbnail making. On the draw stream.
So you're going to do the draw stream tomorrow. I'll let Lycan know.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Because I just realized that we funded another thumbnail and the artist's already behind. It's time for Kibbs to step up and help. It's time for Kibbs to step up.
Hold on, that means I need to add Kibbs to the thumbnail sheet.
Oh! That's
I'll
fair.
do that later.
I'm going. I just realized I'm reading chat. Hold on. River donates $30 and says, "Here is some money. Hashtag Bulletstorm Cookie. Thank you for the nation." Make a notation by the you could put it towards Terra Invicta. Oh, I hate you, Halsey. Terra Invicta is one of those games that I love the concept of, but I hate that there's so many dead techs. As in, you research that technology, and it's just a dead end. And the only person I know who's ever liked that game uses a guide to play it. And I hate having to do that, even for old games. I try to learn on my own. That's why I got mad at Squealy that one time when he started, like, telling me the answers. But still, let me try it at first. Wait till I get bad at it, then I'll ask.
Okay. So, Europa...
I tried doing the mist puzzles. That was impossible. That was impossible.
Which one, Kibbs?
What?
4? Europa?
Europa Universalis? 4, yeah. Just streamed Europa Universalis 2. Just like, why are we here? Why are we here?
And we want
What's up?
Presset and Czar on that.
How about We have a Pal World Fund for the Bickering Bunch.
Yeah, that's doable.
We already have Power Ward
Yeah,
funded.
I think it's funded actually. We're just waiting for the thumbnail to
It
get
is.
done.
That's Indio.
If you want it, thumbnails. Oh no!
What?
Stupid program. Froze for about a moment. It's working.